the heart to the hills, shame teach way. Real life Jamaica, we're living so true. From the dust of the road to the morning dew, sun on our faces, the sky so blue. Real life Jamaica, it's me and you. No fake love, no running away. We hold our faith strong in real life Jamaica. Mama wakes early before the day, prays to God, then she finds a way. Kettle boiling, bread on the pan. Simple life, but about.
All right, good night, viewers. Happy Sunday night to you all. I am Shane Reed. This is Real Life on JBL Entertainment TV, and we have with us upcoming leader, none other than Mr. Michael Black. He is the Youth Ambassador, that's the Governor General Youth Ambassador, and he is the VP for Mr. and Miss Tourism. He's also a podcaster and all of those things. We're going to be talking more about that. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Shane.
All right, so guys, we are sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant Bar and Grill, and that's located down the road from me here in Hopewell. We're sponsored by by Pythagoras Construction, guys. And we're also sponsored by Spirit's Restaurant. Spirit Restaurant is at the new plaza there, Arbor City in Montego Bay. All right, our upcoming guests, so outside of Michael, on Thursday, we're going to be talking to another Michael, but this is Michael Campbell Jr. All right, so another upcoming leader. All right, so we are showcasing our Bell and I, and the team is showcasing persons who are relatively younger than us, and they are, future leaders who will, if they stay here, and we hope they stay here, they will help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, raise families, and do business. So, Michael, how are you, boss?
I'm doing pretty well. It's pretty hot, but I'm doing good for the most part.
All right, happy to hear that. Yeah, the heat is on and it's just May. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do for summer. Probably we're going to be sleeping outside. I don't know. That sounds like the plan.
I mean,
Uh,
that could work. It could work.
yeah, that could work. I agree. That could work. All right, so what's the meaning of your name, Michael?
Michael is a name from the Bible. It is the name of an angel, and it really means one who is like God. So that's the general meaning, one who is like God.
Do you subscribe to that? Do you understand what that means on a philosophical, social, spiritual level?
Of course, Michael, one being like God, we could easily relate that to what the scripture would have said in Genesis, that we were all made in the image of God, and that is the breath of God that is in us. And so, from that perspective, it's very easy to understand and accept that I am one like God. And it's not necessarily my name that really defines if I'm like God, yes or no. While that has some sort of connotation to it, or may carry some weight, it's not necessarily true, because while names help to define a person, it is really their character that helps to really tell the truth about who they are, and not necessarily their name.
Yeah, because the character might not reflect the name.
Which is true.
Yeah, cool. I get where you're coming from, because the serpent said to Eve that once you eat the fruit, you will be like God,
Right.
knowing good and evil. That was the trick. Yeah,
Right. Right.
that was the trick. Well, let's not. Tomorrow is Monday, and let's not get too deep into that. No. Yeah. All right. So Favorite sports, food, drink, music. So are you a
All right.
sports guy?
I am a sports guy, but I'm not a football person. I honestly,
I can
maybe
relate.
those who love football will come at me, and football is generally viewed as a male sport. Yeah, I get that, but for me, track and field is where it is. And that's because I was inspired by track and field. My first real moment of feeling national pride was in 2002. I'll never forget that moment. It was in Athens, Greece, and I saw Vernica Campbell at the time was her name running down that track. And I never forget watching her, shedding tears when she collected that gold medal over the 200 meters in Athens, Greece. And at that time, I understood what it means to win, to feel pride. And from that moment, I fell in love with track and field. While I do have a family history of track and field because my father was a runner in his time, he was known to be the fastest in his community. Everybody knows him for running. My entire family had some amount of track prowess. My sister was also went to champs and got medal at champs. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one who did. I didn't do much track and field, even though I was a part of my high school, Holland High School track team for a brief moment. The training was very hard and rigorous, and that is why I have so much love and appreciation for track and field because I understand to an extent what it requires to go out there and run for 10 seconds. I
Mhm.
understand the years and the months of training for such short period. And so track and field all the way every day. I just watched the world release this morning before
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
church.
yeah.
I'm always there. So track and field in terms of my food, I'm not sure I have a favorite food. I'd go for seafood, but I think over time what I've understood or learned is that I'm a sandwich person. I love a good sandwich. I think that if you can't make a sandwich to taste really good, you cannot cook because that is the basic. It's getting that right meat, getting the right sauce in the sandwich, the right topping. So yeah, a good sandwich is always. I'll go to that anytime. I don't
Okay,
remember
all
all
right.
the
So,
other stuff.
yeah, man, I remind you. So, sports is track and field, food is sandwich, drink.
My favorite drink. Do I have a favorite drink? I'm not sure. I'm mostly a water person. For years, I drank water more than how I would go and take up a drink. If anything, it would be probably pineapple juice or orange juice. But separate and apart from that, I'm really just a water person.
Second person to say they're a water person. Cool. So, water is leading so far. All right. Music.
Music. Um, I I am a Christian. Yes, so I love gospel. And gospel is gospel. It is dear to me. However, I'd say on the side note, I am a lover of reggae music, and it's not necessarily the reggae music of today, but the reggae music of the 80s, 90s, 70s, the Bob Marley, and it's because those music the lyrics contains inspiration. It reflects on it. It can be related to by anyone from any race, culture. It doesn't matter where you
It's
are at.
universal.
It's universal. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
a lot of times when listening to reggae music too, especially when in my much younger years, I could, if I'm down, I could sing it and I would feel uplifted and motivated by the words of reggae music. And it reflected real life. So yeah, reggae music would be my favorite.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you. The music these days is disconnected from the lived reality of the masses of the majority of us. It's just singing about things that hey, a lot of us don't experience and we don't live those sort of lifestyle. So yeah, I agree. All right. So gospel music and reggae music. All right. Movie. Are you a
Movie.
movie dude?
Do I have a favorite movie? You see, I am a realist. I don't have a favorite movie because movies tend to come from a.
So
It's
you don't
not.
deal with abstract.
No, I'm not necessarily. I love a good science made up movie, probably something about some world happenings or events or some bizarre stuff. But my movies or my favorite movies has to be with something that came from real life situation. And so if you catch me watching anything, it would be a real life, either a real life reality series. I'm not talking about gossip or anything like that. I'm talking about something like I'm talking about something like Australia Survival, where people have to overcome challenges in order to win something. I'm talking about real stuff. If you have to use your brain or your mind to win a game, a contest, things that are real, that people are living out reality and experiencing true results. I am that type of person. I'm not so much. If anything, I'd lean to probably a DC universe, Spider-Man, Superman. Apart from that, no, I don't go outside of that.
Okay, I understand. I concur with gossip. Gossip is not good for the soul or the spirit.
Right.
It poisons everything. Yeah, poisons families and organization, institutions, name it. So I concur with that. All right. So book stories.
Favorite book. Interestingly, I have been buying a lot of books, but interestingly, I don't read a lot of them. Maybe I just love having them to say I purchased. I don't read a lot of them. And so when it comes on to what I have done though, is that I have a book that I have been listening to probably for the last 2 3 years, and I only listen it when I'm traveling. So once I'm going on a flight, I pick up from where I left off on that flight, and it's a book written by a Christian evangelist, Reinhard Bonnke, Living a Life of Fire. I'm going to be listening sometime this week because I'll be traveling. So that is the only time I listen. I mostly do audiobooks. Until that book is finished, I will move on to another one that is audio. But that would be my favorite so far.
So Michael, let me understand this. So you're buying books, having a big bookshelf full of books, and you're not reading it.
I don't have a bookshelf yet, but I have quite a stack of books, and I love buying people books as well. That's how much I love book. So once somebody say, "Oh, you can get me this book," or if somebody posts on their WhatsApp or any social media and say, "Oh, I'm interested in book," be sure that I'm going to be one of the first to reach out to you and get that book to you. And once I see an author of a book that I like and I'm interested, I'm going to buy that book, and I may scan through a few pages and put it down just to have the book. But I'm not necessarily the reader of the book, but I love having books.
So if I tell you that, hey, I'm hoping to buy this book, then you
Um, of course. If once you say you need a book, and I tell you, I've bought people books randomly, and they just post it, and I just buy. People come to me and say, "Buy me this book," and I buy them because I think books are monumental because they can move from generation to generation. And so I may have bought it to read, but I've done this already. I bought a book to read, and I wasn't the one who read it. I gave somebody else to read, and they gave it back to me. So even though I buy books and I don't read them, somebody along the way I may lend them that book, and it may help them. And I believe maybe my time is coming where I will eventually just get up
read
one
it.
day
Yeah.
and just start reading all my books that I've purchased
Can you recall offhand any of the titles that you have bought recently?
recently. So um I have book from Emma Stark. That is a Christian prophet in Glasgow. She has a book called um, what's it called again? Discover or Becoming the Voice of God. I also bought a book on. I've been on book ships and I bought the books on the book ship. I bought medical books. I bought a book from about Abraham Lincoln as a leader because he's one of the leaders I'm under study. Those are the two that I can remember now. I am actually looking over at my books across from me, and I can't seem to remember all the names. But yeah, those are a few that I
Yeah. So when you were talking about it, I am in Amazon and I am looking at my basket. And let me see, practically everything I have in here is a book. The only thing I have one roof repair thing, and I have a backpack, a bag. But here are some of the titles that I have in my Amazon basket. So there's C.S. Lewis, that Idiot's Strength,
have. Okay.
and there is Man is Wolf. Man is Wolf to Man surviving the Gulag, and that is about the labor camps in USSR. And then I have the Revolution, the rise and fall of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, and that is a book that is coming out. And then I have the Gulag Archipelago, an experiment in literary investigation, complete 3 volumes, and that's by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and that speaks about the labor camps in Russia and USSR. And then Jamaican books that I have in my basket, let me see. I have The Confounding Island, Jamaica and the Post-Colonial Predicament, and that's by Orlando Patterson. And then there is Footprints in the Sand, the Jamaican Economic Policy Making Experience 2016 to 24 by Nigel Clark. So these are some of the titles. So they're sitting there in my Amazon basket to be bought.
Awesome. I think I'm going to try and get the. I heard one that I'm going to be getting that is not released yet, and that's the one for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The rise and fall of the MAGA movement. I think
Mhm.
that's whoever writes that. I'm going to read it to see what their stance is and if they were just being biased or they were being very, because I know sometimes when writers write they tend to lean to one side, and
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not necessarily a fan of that, but just to get an overall view of, hidden things that I would not have known, I'm very much interested in that book. So I'm going to add that one. I'm going to take that one from you and add it to mine. I may just get you as well.
All right, cool. It's coming out in September. It's written by Victor Davis Anson. I don't know how I discovered him. Um, but if I discovered Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, I don't know who I won't discover. But I discovered him either 2025 or 2024, and I've been watching him. But he is a military expert, military historian, and a good historian on a whole. And he studied hold on, Greek, Latin, those sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So he's a classic. He's a classic. He studied classic, and so on a Saturday, a part of his show will focus on either Greek gods or Roman gods or on. So I'll be sitting there and listening to all of these things. So he is relatively balanced. He is not a Trump, like a Trump fanatic per se.
Okay.
He's a credible historian, and I think he is with Hoover, and I think Hoover is at Stanford University. I think, yeah. Let me not tell you foolishness. Let me go on to my grok and tell you some more about him rather than talking off the top of my head. So Victor Davis. And I do that because sometimes the conversations in Jamaica, I'm kind of tired of it. It's just so lame and stupid,
Yes.
and persons just chatting nonsense and just screaming and cursing off. Yeah, so hold on, Victor Davis answers. So hold on, yeah. So he's an American classicist, military historian, author, and conservative political commentator. He's a former professor at California State University. Yeah. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. So you can check that one out, and I don't think you will regret
Sure.
reading him. All right. Moving on. So we did books. Color. Are you red, black, white?
I am a color person to an extent. I think my favorite is purple, and I'm also a lover of black, but purple. I don't have a lot of purple, but I'm a lover of it. I love seeing it, and black all the way as well.
All right. Flower. Do you have a flowers garden in your yard? I know some men are into it.
No, I don't. I love seeing beautiful flowers, but I'm not sure I have a favorite because I see them and I don't necessarily know what their name is, what species or anything like that.
Hmm.
But no, so I don't have any favorite.
All right. Favorite pastime.
My favorite pastime. I think one of my favorite pastime is my memory of in high school when I first won my first gold medal at speech and drama. Uh, it was the very first time. I think I did share this in a speech last year at
In Honduras.
in Honduras, where I was coached into speech and drama. And when I won that gold medal, I've never felt so accomplished or achieved in any other times of my life. So it's always a memory because it's like your first love and the
Hmm.
first opportunity that you had to hear your name called for a great achievement. And so I think that's always my favorite first time.
All right, guys. I'm going to pause a minute. We're not at a break yet, but I am pausing and welcoming those who are watching. So, whether you're from Michael's church, school, family, whatever it is, thank you for watching. Or you're a typical, J Bell fan, real life fan, thank you for watching. We're speaking to Michael Black, and he is the VP for Mr. and Miss Tourism, and he is a Governor General Youth Ambassador. And there are other stuff about him that you will find out about. So if you have anything to say about to Michael, any questions to ask, if you're watching, you can put them in the comments, and I will read them here as we interact with each other. I am Shane Reed, and this is Real Life. So um, JCI member and J Bell fan tuning in. Thank you, Renio. Do you know that person?
I know him very well.
Yeah, you know him very well. I think so. I think I know him very well too. All right. So thank you for tuning in, Renil, and thank you for the comment. And anything you want to ask Michael, feel free to do so. All right. So let me see. Community of birth, iconic memories from that. So your community of birth and your iconic memories.
The community is called, well, I did not grow up in the community I was born in. And so I would look more on the community I was grown in, which
Mm-hmm.
is, well, let me just generalize. The entire area is called Falmouth, and then Falmouth is divided into smaller communities. And so if I am to look for a noble person, it would be Sir Sir Hugh Lawson Shearer is actually from Falmouth.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
yes, Sir Hugh Lawson Shearer is originally from Falmouth.
I should
Uh,
know that, but I didn't.
okay, yes, he is from Falmouth, and he's actually from the community that I grew up in, Waterloo. That's where he
Oh.
originated from. And I could extend it to my entire parish. There are great people that come from my parish.
Of
My
course, of
yes,
course.
yes, and Falmouth was the first town to get water ahead of New York City, and so you know how much Falmouth was once one of the richest city in the Western Hemisphere under the rule of the British. Uh, it is known Falmouth has the second largest stadium. Trelawney have the second largest stadium in Jamaica. We I could go on and on, but let's leave that for another time.
And you boast a good high school. Not to say that Holland High School is not a good high school, but there is William Neighbor High School, and it's named after the prominent Baptist preacher
Yes,
and and anti. He fought for anti. He was anti-slavery and fought for the betterment of the new free slaves and all of those things. So, as a Baptist slash Pentecostal, I'm proud of that.
yes.
All right, cool. All right. So, any iconic memories from Water Lane? Anything that you remember just doing in the community, and every now and then you reflect about it. You're nostalgic.
I'm not sure if I have any iconic moment that I just what I can say about Falmouth is that it has grown. It has moved from where it was when I was much younger. I'm a 90s child, and
Hmm.
so I understand what life was before we have a shipping harbor. We were before we had Highway 2000 running through Falmouth. Falmouth was a very vegetative area, and we've hosted, World Cup opening ceremony for Cricket World Cup opening ceremony. So we've had big things happening there. Um, and we've had monarchs who have come through Falmouth, because Falmouth is one of the most historic towns in the Western Hemisphere. For those who don't know, it's one of the most historic towns. It's the best laid out town in, if I don't believe it's a Western Hemisphere or Jamaica, but I don't want to quote that wrong. But it's the best laid out town. Let's leave it at Jamaica for now. It's the best laid out town for Jamaica, because it only has streets that goes up and down and across for the most part. It doesn't have a circular turn bend. Most of the streets are just across, up and down, horizontally and vertically. And so that's what Falmouth is known for. And it has preserved much of that history. For while the Hurricane Melissa came and sort of eroded some of that, or affected some of that, Falmouth continues to bask in its historic preservation. I think about 3 or so months ago, I saw an article where it was highlighted that it is at risk of losing the status of one of the most preserved towns. And that is one of the memories of Falmouth that I can cherish. Or I will say, I'll tell people that if you come to Falmouth, you just cannot lost. You cannot get lost, because it is properly laid out. You don't have any confusing streets. After you pass this lane, the next lane, you can count the lanes, go down, and you won't miss. It's very easy to. So that is something I hold dear to about farmers.
All right, cool. Renee said Mr. Falmouth has all the pop quiz answers locked and loaded. Yes, he does. He's an ambassador. All right. Now we see why he's the tourism ambassador and the Governor General Youth Ambassador. All right. So walk us through basic school, primary school, and secondary school while we come closer to the break.
All right. So I went to basic school. It was the Falmouth Gardens Basic School. It still exists, still in operations. And then I moved to what was the Falmouth All Age School. It's now Falmouth Primary School. At the time when I was going, it went up to grades 9. I did. Let me just backtrack a little bit. I wasn't a fast learner. I was pretty much slow out of the box. And so even leaving basic school, I could not write on a straight line. Right up until grade 5, I can remember, and this probably should have been one of my most fun memories, but up until grade 5, I could not write on a straight line at Falmouth College School. I remember the
Really?
first time, yes, I remember the first time I wrote on a straight line in grade 5. My teacher gave me a sticker, and it was a truck. It was a truck driving on the road in a straight line, and that was the reason why I got that sticker. And that memory has not left me because, as I said, I wasn't a fast learner. I was
So
pretty.
your motor skills wasn't developed that you didn't develop your motor skills that fast.
I don't know if it's motor skills or I was just not ready to learn. There are many. There are many. I think learning and education is very technical, especially for students, and persons learn at different rate, and it's not necessarily a matter of motor skills. While that can play a part in why somebody may be late in learning or writing or reading or whatever part of their educational journey. Sometimes children learn when they are left to learn and not when they are forced to learn. And I think that would have been my understanding growing up as a child. We tend to have a culture, especially from the 90s, where you are forced to learn. Well, I'm not bashing, the educational system, and I do big up Maxine Henry Wilson for her theme: every child can learn, every child
Child
must
must
learn.
learn.
Yes. But most sometimes is pushed too. We push the must too much. And so what that does is that we force kids to learn at a certain age. You have to read by 5. You must have a certain reading level. But at 5, the child is not ready. They are not going to get a job at 5. They don't need to readily learn to read at that time. Um,
I
they
know, I
still
know they, I know not to cut you. I know in educational psychology, we, we like to say that once the child say passes 6 or even 8 years old, it's difficult to socialize the child and difficult even to get the child to read. Not to say that it is impossible, but I listened to Professor Peters. Reading and syllabication and all of these things is so difficult that it is advisable that the foundation is laid prior to these years, because the older the child is, the difficult it becomes. Not to say that you can't learn after
right,
that, or you can't be socialized after that, it becomes more difficult.
right. Yes, those have their merits and they
Mhm.
have their position, and we are not going to throw out anything that somebody who is trained in psychology. We're not throwing out, but there are anomalies in every system,
Anomalies, yes,
and
definitely so.
yes, and so we can't use the one size fits all,
Mhm, mhm.
especially in our education system, where you force a child into maybe reading is not their thing yet. Maybe drawing is their thing for now. And then drawing leads them into reading. Maybe their thing for now is painting, and then painting leads them into reading. And so we have to, I just did a video submission discussing this very same topic to an international organization about our education system and how I was looking at the model of education, the model of the education system in Europe, in some European countries, and how different it is here in Jamaica, and not just Jamaica, but somehow in the Caribbean, some parts of the Western world, how our education system is. And I get to understand, like in countries like Sweden, uh, Denmark, and those countries, they don't force kids to read at age 5. They let the child be. They don't force kids. They encourage kids to do what you are able to do, and it works for them. It works for them. And so, if we can adopt this same model of allowing our kids to learn, we have a system where we grew up in the time when you either need to become a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse. If you don't get A, if you don't get 100, if you don't get A plus a B, you're not a star student. But you may not be star in writing, but you're a star in drawing. You may not be a star in math, but you're a star in painting, in construction. And so kids in these countries are exposed to these things from early as five. In China, we know that we have engineers who are 5 years old in China. We know that we have some of the toys that our very own kids play with here in Jamaica are built by 6 and 7 year olds in China. And so it's how we do it, how we allow our kids, or we give them that free will to learn to discover, because children are really on a path of self-discovery. And it's how much we allow them instead of forcing them into the direction of what we think is the direction that they should go in.
Welcome, chosen flame music. I'm going to follow you on this tangent, and you're pricking my brain, and my brain is, um, one of the reasons in teachers college while I was at CTC, I used to wax very lyrical about Japan and their education system, and so um, that you and I are part of, JCI. You probably wonder why I talk so much or appreciate JCI so much, but through the organization and through a favor from Ali, and by extension I got the opportunity to go to Japan in 2019. And one of the first visits was, it was the Friday, yes, and we went to an elementary school. And as I said earlier, in college, I'm always talking about Japan and their education system. So I'm at an elementary school, which is a primary school for us. And they're like, we do not do formal exams at this level. We allow the child to be. And I'm like, you guys got to be making up stuff to tell me, because I didn't say that to them because, hey, I am a guest. And this is one of the reasons why I want to go back to Japan outside of Japan Academy, because I didn't get the chance to ask as much questions as I'd wanted to, especially of the education system. Because what do you mean you do not do formal exit exam? Because I grew up with common entrance, and then my generation in common entrance, and then it is GSAT, and now it is PEP.
Right.
And our students have to study for PEP 4 and PEP 5 and PEP 6. So I want to go back to Japan. World Congress is next year. And hopefully I'm able to go back and actually outside of World Congress, spend some time and asking and speaking to some education practitioners in Japan to find out if what they told me in 2019, if it is correct. Because that is still in the back of my brain, working its way around. And because I am like, if I should do a PhD or a Doctor of Education, I need to go to Japan and find out if this is real or they're just telling me fairy tales.
It is real, because it's the same model that many countries in Europe, a they don't do formal tests for children who are under a certain age. They don't do, when you reach 7, you have to do a test to see where you're at. They don't do monthly tests. They don't do yearly end of year tests. It's just learning and encouraging the child to be. It does exist. It does exist.
Yeah, I understand it doesn't exist, but I really have to go back there because, as I said, it is a civilization that I admire, really admire. I'm not suggesting that Jamaica should become Japan. I've always said that, for example, JCI Jamaica can be the Japan of the West. I don't suggest, I don't know then how do you model out Japan into the entire Jamaican society. I don't know how if that is possible, but it's crazy. And then you see how productive they are as a society, how creative they are as a society, and all of these things. And you can't help, as you are doing, you can't help but question our education system and saying, why are we doing this?
Mm. Yes, it's
and we
true.
are and we are spending billions of dollars on education in Jamaica, and the outcome is not that great. Half of our students leave high school; they are not able to read and write. They are not able to master English. They don't. They can't even read and write their mother language,
Ah,
which is Jamaican, plus the the language of the colonial master, as the deconstructionists and all of those guys like to say. They can't master none of them. They don't master maths, they don't master English, they don't master social studies, they can't write. And the only time they try to master a language is when they're trying to scam.
yes. Yeah, it's very technical because I think the issue is that Jamaica is too focused on a one size fits all type model. What you find is that because we are not necessarily innovators, because Jamaica is not necessarily an innovative nation. We're not those who are big on manufacturing and innovation. We are more of the, I'd say, not even secondary, probably tertiary type of job market where we are more focused on tourism, um,
Service, yeah.
service, providing service. And so, because of that, our education system tends to focus on that because of the opportunities that the government would have opened, whatever investors, because most of our investors either come to build hotels, probably in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, mid 20, from 2008 to 2016, 18, thereabout, we had a lot of call centers. Call centers was very much popular, was very much the investment that the country was allowing to come. And we have not invested in those who want to go into engineering. We have not invested in those who want to go in science, medicine. We are way behind in investing even in those who should occupy the digital space. Just recently, that came out in the news where Jamaica is so far behind in its digital technology. A lot of places still use books and pens as document keeping. You have the big long logbook with the pen that keeps all the information, that takes all log. And so if something happens to that book, I don't know if Melissa erased some of our records, if some was washed away or what, but we are so behind because we have not invested in, our education system hasn't placed much emphasis on that.
Thank you. But I still read the comments. But I hear you, and I don't think it's only investment, though. We have a hardware problem, we have a cultural problem. And one of the things that I am silently thinking about, or quietly in my quiet time, I'm thinking is that education is not going to work in Jamaica because at at the level of the individual or at the level of the family, it is not an important cultural thing. And if education is going to work, it is not something that comes from an eye, doesn't come from up the hierarchical structure at the top. It has to come from, number one, you as an individual. Before you even start a family, you have an aptitude and an interest in that which is hidden, in the unknown. Okay, you're interested in your darkness being enlightened. You want to know. Okay, and you are willing to invest your time in that journey. And if the culture is like that, then it makes it easier for you to be or to go on that journey. If you understand where I'm going.
Yes. Just to add there, the culture I think in Jamaica does somewhat have the drive to be educated, because I don't know of a home that didn't encourage your child to, you need to go to school and learn. You need to take your book, we would say in the Jamaican term. You need to ensure that you become something. But what is being provided, as we discussed earlier, was the model that was handed down to the people. It's what was done. So it's not that it's not that education was never important in our families. I believe
Mm-hmm.
every family who tried, they struggled to send some of their kids to school. But what is handed down to that child? What is the model where you force a child to learn math when that child could be learning construction? And then probably in the process of understanding construction, they would better understand math, because then they'd be able to see how math is applied to construction, how math is integrated into construction. We used to make fun when I was going to Montego Bay Community College, and we were in our math class, and we were doing it was we were doing Cape Unit 1 maths, and we used to make mockery at the lecturer saying, how will we use this on the patient? How will we use these formulas on the patient? And so it is very funny that we were asking those questions. These are some of the questions that students literally ask, how will this, because they could not get the application of why I need math.
So
Why
did
does
you
math and English, why is it so fundamental that I must have it to get the job? How will it apply? And so the education system has not fully enabled our students to learn the practical stuff of what you're studying. How does social studies apply to your life in the future? If it doesn't apply to what the child wants to do, it makes no sense. It's a waste. And so that is where I think it really fails from the system, and not necessarily from our culture of not wanting to be educated. Over time, because we did not get the results we hope, and we see others in other society making life without a formal education, we tend to now adopt that and say, you know what, we don't need education, because people go online and they do something different without going into a formal school setting, and they make it in life. And so what children do is that they tend to adopt that because it seems to work elsewhere.
so you're contesting that it is the failure of the system that then pushes
Yes.
us to the
Yeah.
undesirable alternative.
Mhm.
Hmm? All right, cool. Fair enough. Counterpoints. All right. Later on in life, they can be developed. All right. So Chosen Flame Music, welcome, Mr. NP, Mr. Markland, my boss, your boss, welcome. He says we spend millions on a system that is failing. Concur. Here. Big up Chosen. Song sounded good. So I suspect that Chosen he's a he's an artist. I do not know if he's a gospel artist or a secular artist, but whichever type it is. Thank you, Chosen, for watching, and thank the rest of you for watching. You can comment. So you went on to Holland High School, not a traditional high school though. So how was that? How did you feel?
Holland, interestingly, when I was in grade 6 and going on, I never had Holland on my radar, because Holland was fairly new. It opened in 2004. I remember before passing to Holland, this is a funny story. I used to mock a young man, say a Holland in pass. I mocked him. I mocked him that he passed for Holland, and I never see myself going to that school. Um, and my schools were though I was living in Trelawney, because I was so familiar with watching school challenge grades and so on. My school was Calabar, KC, Wilmers. That's what I told my parents to put on the paper for my school. And my teacher told my mother that, no, you can't put those schools because they're not sending him here. It's too far. Um, and so what they did was they went behind my back and put the schools that I did not choose, and they put Holland and William Nib. And I got into Holland. My Holland life was really transformative. I think Holland played a big part in who I am today. I love that school dearly. Interestingly, they were at my church today, praying blessings for the students who are going to sit their exams starting tomorrow. And so Holland helped me to become a lot of what I am today. I became a part of debating, quiz team, choir, track, science. I was in everything. I was that enough student. And as I said, that happened after I won my first gold medal, as I shared earlier. It was at that point because I was very withdrawn in grade 7, I was very withdrawn by myself. My first semester, I I did fairly okay, but it wasn't so good. And then in my second semester, I did very well. As I said, I was a very slow student. I did very well, and I came first in grade 7, and I was a runner-up top male performer. Grade 8, I kept the momentum. Grade 9, I kept the momentum. But my involvement in Holland was heavy. I was a youth mayor. I was a senior prefect. I ended up doing 9 subjects. I and I did
For
nine.
somebody who could not write on a straight line at grade 5
Wow,
and a
I tell
slow
you,
starter, you ended up doing 9 subjects.
and one of the subjects, I did it outside of I did it outside of the regulation that the school would have set up, because you're only allowed to do 8. And what I did was I went to my agricultural science teacher at the time, and I said I did well in grade 9, but based on my interest and how they had pooled the subjects, I could not get to choose it. And I said I did very well. I want to do it for CXC as well. And he said, okay, let's work it something out. And I didn't get to go to the classes for the year. I only got notes. I probably went to 2 or 3 classes, and I went into agricultural science and I got a grade 2 without going to a single class. From after I did agriculture and science in grade 9, I did not go to a single class. And high school, as I said, made me into a lot of what I am. I did public speaking. I did so much. It is probably my most. I would go back to high school and live those days all over and over again. It was
Wow.
very rewarding, and I felt accomplished. High school was like home to me. I was happy. It doesn't matter if I didn't have money, lunch money, anything. I always look forward to going to school.
Wow. Big up Holland High School. Big up. I do not know if you want to give any shout out. I'm not putting you on the spot. I don't want to shout out anybody and then leave. So you shout out your physics or your science or your social studies teacher, and don't shout out your literature teacher. I'm not putting you on the spot, sir. But big up
Oh,
Holland High School.
right. Just big up Holland High School and those who know me, the teachers or students, past students who know me. Kudos to them, and they're doing a good job and getting the school to rival with the so-called traditional high school. I think the only school in Trelawney that can probably come and talk to Holland High School is maybe Westwood and William Neighbor. No, I'm not going to create a problem on your channel. So yes, big up Holland High School.
All right, big up Alan. As we come closer to our first break, personal philosophy. What is that?
Philosophy. My personal philosophy is uh, you are the driver and the leader of your destiny. You are in control of it. And so you do not allow anyone to dictate your direction or when you make changes. And I also love this philosophy, this quote by Zig Ziglar, a renowned US businessman and author philanthropist. He said, "You don't have to be great to start, but you must start to be great." And so I don't believe I'm great. There are many things that I take head on when I know that I may not be qualified. I'm not there yet to get there. However, because Zig told me that I don't have to be great to begin, I am going to go for it head on and steer in the direction that I want it to go.
Wow, powerful. Remind us of that again.
Zig Ziglar, you don't have to be great to start, but you must start to be great.
Wow. All right. Coming down to our break, do you have an alter ego?
No, I don't have an alter ego.
So there
I
is no id, the ego, and the super ego.
no, no.
There is no Michael, and then there's Michael and the middle name, and then there's Michael Black. There's nothing like that.
No, I think for me, I'm a relative. I prefer the back of the line, to be honest. Maybe that is my alter ego. I prefer the back of the line. I prefer the back of the classroom, the back of everything. I prefer not to be heard, not to be seen. But somehow, I'm always picked out. I'm always identified. I'm always picked on. I'm somehow called on a lot of times. But earlier in my years, I just wanted to grow up to be a very quiet and reserved person. Nobody knows me, nobody knows who I am, and then just stay behind. So no, alter ego is out the door.
Cool. I take that from you, sir. If you say so, it is so. Our hidden talent.
Hidden
And then
talents.
we get
I thought of this question very hard because I don't think I have a hidden talent. I'm pretty much what you see is what you get. I'm pretty much as I said, I like to be behind or hidden or not seen, and so I think my hidden talent is just to give you an element of surprise. You see me and you don't know and you don't understand, and so whenever I do something, it's just an element of surprise to you.
yeah, yeah. I think I like that. I think I appreciate. Well, first break coming up, but yeah, I get that. I like that, and that is powerful, though. That is powerful. I remember when I moved to Hopewell and going to church and sitting at the back, not saying much, not doing much, just being quiet. Just shut up. The first time I actually spoke, persons were like, "Dude, I never know see you could have."
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, that's powerful. That's powerful. It's good to be just there. And sometimes people think that you're not observing and you're not paying attention and that you're not seeing. And then when it's ready, you just flip on that switch and say, "Hello, I am
Yes.
observing, I'm paying attention, I see everything, I remember everything, it is down here. And all I have to do is just go, lay down on the bed, not sleeping, or even if I am in between sleep and being awake, it comes back to me and I'm saying, oh, this is what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, this is what you're doing. So and I do that with whether it is teaching, whether it is church, whether it is JCI, whatever, politics, whatever. I will watch people interact and how they behave and how they talk, especially if you do not have the material trappings,
Hmm.
the outward material trappings,
Yes.
whether it is a flashy clothes, flashy car, flashy this, and you can just see how they react to you and how they frame stuff to you, and then go home and say, "Ah, hmm,
Yes, yes,
so I see. So you are like that, and you say this, and then the next time I speak to you, you say that. Hmm, cool."
yes, yes. It's an
Yeah,
art.
it
And I
is a
think
yes, and it is a good. Not to say that you are being sneaking, but
it's a good camouflage in a sense.
yes, it's a good camouflage, and it's a necessary skill, especially in a time where everything is out there on social media. Yeah, and nobody keeping. Yeah. All right, break, guys. First break. We soon come. Michael, you can drink a water, take a cool down, or something like that, and we go into your. Well, you're basically young, so you're a young adult, and then we get into JCI and all of those stuff and wrap up.
Okay.
All right, cool. First break, guys. Soon come back.
Sky Beach Bar and Seafood Grill, located in Hopewell, Hanover, offers you a variety of local Jamaican seafood cuisine. Dine in a tropical garden setting in one of our famous tiki huts, or get your feet wet in the beautiful Caribbean Sea. We also cater to large group parties, weddings, and conferences. We provide free Wi-Fi to all persons dining. Come in and ask about our Sky Beach bed breakfast accommodation. Fully air-conditioned rooms with all modern amenities. We're only 15 minutes away from Montego Bay. Call for reservations 956-5006 or 547-3971. We will be happy to serve you.
Real Life JA, Hanover's number one talk show is back. Tune in to your host Shane Reed.
Are you ready, guys? She says she's ready.
Yeah, man,
ready?
ready.
Live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Weekly rebroadcast is aired on Cornell Communications Network, channel 0313, and on MF Telecom, channel 100. You're invited to be a guest on the show, so please call 876-320-6013. Real Life JA, where we discuss and dissect real events to the core.
If I told you that there was a place where you could meet young people who are changing the world, a place where business leaders, officials, entrepreneurs, and humanitarians come together to talk about building a more sustainable and equitable future for us all, a place where you can network with professionals from over 100 countries. Well, there is a place, actually a lot of places, where change makers are meeting to become the next generation of leaders. Welcome to JCI. We also make sure that wherever we are, we're connecting people with skills, knowledge, and resources they need to succeed in work and life. And even though we much prefer jetting around from continent to continent to meet our international colleagues in person, we're also committed to bringing the JCI experience to you wherever you are. But what makes a JCI event unique isn't just the parties, the ceremonies, the workshops and panels. It's members like you guys coming together, sharing your ideas on what it means to be a leader in the modern world. So, welcome aboard.
This is Lennox Lewis, last undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Big up Bell Entertainment TV. They're the best. Don't mess with them, else I'll knock you out.
J-Bell Entertainment TV. Come and share your world with us.
Smiles when the days get rough, cause love alone is strong enough. Even when the night feels long, we still find strength in a simple song. Small little light, but it burns so bright, guides us through the darkest night. Real life Jamaica, we're living so true. From the dust of the road to the mall.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Life JA on JBL Entertainment TV. I am your host, Shane Reed, and we have with us a special guest, Michael Black. He is the Governor General Youth Ambassador. He is VP, Mr. and Miss Tourism Jamaica, and he is the president for Junior Chamber International Montego Bay. And he is an upcoming podcaster. We're going to be talking about that in the interview. And you never know what will happen to Michael in the future. I see him as a young man with a future and someone who will create impact, and an impact that will not only benefit Jamaica but also the world. All right, so we are sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant Bar and Grill, and that's located down the road from me. So when you come to Hanover, when you come to Hopewell, please go and support Miss Mac in the early days when we were starting out before we relocated to house here or in I am at home in, and Belle is there in St. James, wherever. We used to go down to Miss Mac and set up the camera. And, she didn't charge us. She just saw two young men, or three or four young men and a young lady, or whatever, trying something. And she said, all right, go use the back of my business place. So please, whenever you come down here, go to Sky Beach and support Miss Mac. And then there is Pythagoras Construction. And there is also Spirits of Montego Bay, to put it that way. It's located in the new plaza in Montego Bay, the plaza that reminds you of being in New York or being in Kingston, because they have cars can drive up and go all the way up there. So, all right. All right. Upcoming interview this Thursday, we're going to be talking to another upcoming leader, Michael Campbell Jr. So please stay tuned for that. We are speaking to, prospective leaders, both in all areas. We are moving away from the kias and the ray. We are dealing with a conversation at a higher vibe, at a higher level. Okay, and these conversations will take like the podcast sort of conversation, guys. I will interview the guests. I will ask them questions and have conversations, in exchange. So it's not like what you probably are used to in the typical Jamaican podcast. It's not me cussing Michael and Michael cussing me and tracing. I don't do that. Nah, cool. I don't do that. All right. So, and that's not what we are trying to do here. So if you want to talk to us, please reach out to J Bell. And yes, Bell, as Bell said, it's real talk, real conversations. And some of the conversations will take 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes, 2 or 3 hours. It might take that long. All right. So let's get back to Michael. All right. So you left Holland. Where did you go to next and why?
Right. So when I left Holland, I ended up I started doing a little job in a factory because I did not have money to go to university at the time. And I did that for just probably 2 months, 3 months. And then
Which factory?
It was King Pepper Factory or Eaton's. And interestingly, that factory manufactured a lot of stuff that have some of the major brand names. I won't call any names, but it does manufacture a lot of the stuff that you use that has those names on it and those big brands and those expensive brands and all of that. And it did export overseas as well. And so it was a very interesting job. And interestingly,
they're still operating?
Yes, they are. They're still in.
So you must link up JC and all away.
I haven't really had any contact with them from the moment I left. Mm-hmm. I still know somebody who works there because she comes to my church and she was the one who got me into that job. And I think that job was very important because one of my future endeavors is to model some of the things that I would have learned and seen while working there. It was a production line, and I love production. I love manufacturing. It's one of my dreams to turn my parish into a manufacturing hub in Jamaica. And so that job, I believe, was very important because it opened my eyes to the possibilities of how we can contribute to our economic health, the economic health of our country. And not to segue from the question, is that one of the things, as we continue on that path of education, one of the things that we must be careful that we teach Jamaicans and our children about is that if you want your country to move forward, you have to understand what it takes to get that country forward. The country will require people sacrificing themselves. So sacrificing themselves to be the builders of businesses, such as, business within IT, whether it is creating technological solutions for the rest of the world, whether it is having industries and manufacturing industries where we don't just export bauxite, but we are now the maker of aluminum. Imagine if Jamaica was making its own aluminum, we would not be where we are. And we have not taken the sacrifice as a people to get to that point. Interestingly, we are learning about oil being in our shores, and that is very interesting. But what's so terrifying? Potential. What is terrifying about that situation is that it will be done by another country. And so again, we have not invested in ensuring that our people have the necessary skill sets and so on. So that is something that I love that job because of that. It was Jamaica, using Jamaican products. I remember going in that pepper factory and had to live. I was very small. I'm still very small, but at that time I was way smaller than now. Lift heavy bags of peppers to bring to the grinder to make your pepper sauce. I remember going home and being on fire because pepper burn really. But I mean, it taught me so much, and I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate the people who have dedicated their lives to getting that done. After I left there, I went back to evening school because it was to better my grades. There are some subjects that I had passed, but I wasn't satisfied in passing them, and I wanted to better my grades. So I went back to evening school, got my grades better as well, and then I started the Montego Bay Community College, where I did my Cape subjects, but I only did one unit. And then I learned that what I wanted to do, I don't need to do 2 units. So I opted out. But when I opted out, I still could not get into the university that I wanted to go. I wanted to do medical technology at the time. But when I did my interview at UT at the time, I did not get through, unfortunately. And then I started working. When I started working, I decided that I'm going to try another way to get into university. So I applied to UA and got into, interestingly, my plan was to get into UA and move over into science because I love science in high school. That was my thing. That was what I was passionate about. And so I got into UA to do political science. To do political science. But then when I was doing political science, I was like, man, why did I take up this thing? This has no maths, it has no science, it's just a lot of information, a lot of
Theory.
notes, political theory. I did political philosophy, and I tell you, that course was fun because I learned a lot of political stuff, but I just couldn't get past the amount of reading I had to do. And as I shared earlier, I'm not the reading, do I have a lot of books? So it required a lot of reading. And I know people say, oh, science requires a lot of reading. But science is to the point. A lot of the political things they want
It's
you to
not
do.
to the point.
It's not to the point. They want you to do. Science is to the point. A lot of the political things They wanted you to analyze why Plato would say this, understanding his political philosophies and theories, and I was not up for that. I was not up for the
Yeah.
essays and the work that was. So I ended up I had to stop school because it was conflicting with my work at the time. And that was the only way I could have gone to school because I did not have the financial backing to get into. So what happened? I had to pause school and just work. And then in 2018, I got back into UA. And this time I got into the science program, which was, I'm now looking at studying microbiology. As I said, I'm a science student. And while there, I was going on pretty well, and then COVID happened.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when COVID happened, it threw me right off the bus. So I wasn't working, nothing. I had to basically jump out of school because I'm not working anymore, and I just didn't have the financial means to take care of that. And so I opted out again, tried to resume, but as soon as I resumed, because now I got up right in COVID, I got a job and I was able to work in COVID, interestingly, but I was not able to be in school. And so because my classes required that I was physically there, school was paused for a while. And so when I realized that I had to choose between the job and school, I said, okay, I have to put this degree again on pause. Interestingly. And
So
then,
this is the second pause.
yeah, that would be my second pause. And then I just resumed studying last year. I just resumed studying last year again. So that is ongoing. I'm still working where I started. I'm a restaurant general manager. I started out as a supervisor, and then um, I started as a supervisor, and then I, applied for the position of a general manager. So school is and work is what is currently my life, um, currently, and so yeah. But I won't get into what I'm studying yet. That's kind of hidden. It's not science because I switched. I switched again because of, and let me go there. Why I switched is because of sometimes you choose things that don't choose you.
So what did you switch to, Michael?
I switched to international relations.
Well, you're going back to politics.
Right. That's why I'm coming back here. I'm coming back to that point. So I switched because during the course of my life, I would often find myself in the position of leadership. I remember running from leadership. I run from it after high school. I was forced into it, into leading a community-based organization. Right after leaving high school, I became the vice president, and then I became the president, and then I joined the National Youth Council of Jamaica. I ran for the national president of the National Youth Council of Jamaica when I was 19, thereabout, very young. I I wasn't successful in that election, but I did run because I was fairly new in that, and I'm not one to back down, even if I knew, as I said, I am not great, but I'm willing to start. And I just went head on for the national president at the time. And then I went back and supported my parish youth council. I started doing youth-led work, and I find that that was now my niche that I really liked, and I'm seen as a leader because I'm able to get people together. I'm able to motivate. I'm able to inspire. And there were many local organizations calling on me. The the Social Development Council, STC Commission was calling on me. Community Development Committee was calling on me. I was being pulled here and there as a young man into different leadership avenues and to lead in different areas. And so I realized now that I began to develop a love and a passion for leadership. And so I somehow sidetrack. And I tell you, I love science. I love right now. I do science again and again. I'm a lover of science. I'm a lover of working in the lab. A matter of fact, I can go back to high school and tell you that my teacher did not recommend me for chemistry. But somehow, when she marked my lab books, she said, "But you are such a great lab student. You should be doing." But at the time, how I got to do chemistry was at the time when they said they did not, when they said that I was no longer recommended. I already paid for the subject. So when the time was very close for my SBS to mark, and she said, "Michael, I realized that your name is on the paper." I was long doing my SBS because I knew what happened. So I was long doing my SBS and I was doing them. So I'm always a lover of science. And so when I started to realize now that there's a conflict between what I love versus what I'm called to do. So you have things that you are called to do, that this is like your destiny, and then you have things that you love. So I don't leave science because I can't do it or I don't have an understanding of it or I couldn't manage it. No, it is because I believe what I'm called to do. I could easily slip back and go into science and say, "Oh, let's just hide behind a white jacket in a lab and focus on finding results." And that's pretty boring sometimes. And just sit down and look in a beak or in a petri dish through a microscope and just throw some chemicals here.
But
Problem.
society,
Huh?
um, the positivists, which I think is their kind, will argue that society is a petri dish,
Yes,
and,
it is.
and that exactly. So I'm going into my sociological content here, and I think what Durkheim and Parsons, I don't remember all of them now, would argue that society is a science and that sociology makes use of the same principles of pure and natural science. The positivists will argue, and probably you can find a balance between your calling and your love. Isn't that possible?
Yes, and that's where it's going to come in
Hmm.
because I shared earlier that I want to get into the industry of manufacturing.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
part of where my science, my love for science will come in is when I get into this business. I'll have factories, and these factories require you to have labs and you
Hmm.
to do
Hmm.
testings, and so my love for science will be displayed there because I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time in those labs because I love that. But when you what happened is that I got into leadership and I'm entrenched there. And I started learning, I started studying world leaders, following politics. I mean, when I was learning politics, when I just started you, I did not like it. I thought it was too corrupt. I did not like the theories. I did not like some of the political philosophers. I just had a negative
Who you
connection
did not like?
point. Uh,
Marx?
I I think some of Plato's philosophies are just out the door. Plato had a philosophy of the city of pigs, how the government is way up there, and then you have his political hierarchy is so strange. He had those who were the elite, those who were guards, those who were educational, and then you had the people who were called the city of pigs. I just could not stand that type of philosophy.
So in essence,
And
politics is for the elites.
right. So he was saying that the elites were the politicians and those who were good with their brains. So the scientists, the doctors, those are
Yeah.
the elites. And then you
Well,
have the soldiers or the guards are those who would protect the elites. And then you had the
yeah.
middle class who sort of support the doctors, and but then you had the city of pigs who just did anything, who were the people who brought down the economy. They were poor, and I did not like his model of how his political hierarchy and his philosophical view was. And so those were some of the things that I did not like about politics.
What
I
about Aristotle? You were exposed to him?
I did study Aristotle. Aristotle was a little bit more realist. He was more on. I could understand a lot of what he was
He
saying.
was for democracy, but I
Right,
believed
right,
he identified the flaws in democracy.
right. He was more for the people. While he identified the flaws in democracy, he wasn't really a big believer of it.
No, he
He,
wasn't.
yeah, he wasn't a big believer of it. But I understood because democracy does have its place.
He was a republic. I think Plato would admire the American system of governance rather than probably the Westminster. He'd think that that system is more realistic.
Maybe Plato is somewhat like Trump. I don't know.
Yeah. But this idea, and I used to ascribe to the idea that it is the elite or the educated or the learned that must be involved in politics, the intelligent. But like you, 2020 was a period in where I was introduced to somebody like Jordan Peterson. He's a clinical psychologist, Canadian clinical psychologist, and he exposed me to the whole idea that the intellect can be very, very dangerous. And I looked and studied, I started to pay more attention to totalitarianism and all of these things. And the fact that a lot of the persons who participated in these systems or perpetuated these systems would have been the intelligentsia. When you look at the persons who participated in Nazism and shot people, just took a gun and shot people in their heads, there were teachers, there were the educated people that basically went mad. And Hitler was able to have these people walking behind him and doing his stuff. So, yeah, that's where I started to say, hey, cool down on this idea that, it is the educated that should lead the masses, because the educate, and then that killing that church, that weird church in Montego Bay. Yeah, and a lot of the persons who went there were middle class. They were middle class. They were educated.
Yeah,
Yes, and the fact that they were led by, and I'm like,
educated.
yeah, there's something wrong there. So cool. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, so you're back at humanitarian, and then you're also still science. So, and university is ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Cool. So you have answered a couple questions. So I can move on then. What is the Governor General IBI Youth Ambassador? What is that all about?
So the Governor General, I believe, Initiative Youth Ambassador Program is a program that recognizes youth leaders who have done and are still doing great work in their community. So they are community focused, impacting their community, transforming the lives of individuals within their community. So whether that is through community outreach projects and so on. It is not we were told that it's not an award, so you are pinned by the governor general as an ambassador, as someone who is continually doing work to improve the state or improve Jamaica. You're contributing to the further development of Jamaica. And Sir Patrick Allen, his one of his or his favorite quote is that we can use what is uh, right about Jamaica to fix what is
What is
wrong
wrong?
about Jamaica. And so, with this ambassador program, you just basically continue to do work. It's really a pin to highlight that you're doing work. That is really what it is. When you get into that program, they tell you it's not an award. It's more of you are an ambassador of the governor general carrying out work within your community. Within this program, you get to connect with all the ambassadors under this program in the entire country. There are some elite persons who you sometimes see on the television that are a part of the program. You have Marlene Stevenson Daly, who is an ambassador. You have some of your news presenters that you see on the television, they are ambassadors. It's a very wide and diverse. You have medical practitioners. They, however, young people are contributing to the advancement of Jamaica or their community. That is how the program selects you. So I went through an interview process. They reviewed the work that I would have done in my community. As I said, I've long been a part of youth involvement within my community. So I would have done community projects that impacted, girls' home, hospital, infirmary, schools, you name it. Whatever it is, I would have run for Special Olympics, help raise funds to send people to Special Olympics, all these kinds of work. I would have done all of these projects. And so submitting that application form, going through the interview that is done by the custos of the parish. And then they decide if you are a fit for the program. You go to King's House and you get pinned and you are charged to get more work done. You have to submit a report each year of the work that you're doing, the projects that you have concluded, and it is highlighted by the Governor General. And you also get to network because it's a huge pool of young people from across the nation, and you are able to. So a lot of the hurricane efforts and relief programs that we see that happen across the nation in Melissa were done by the very ambassadors of the IBI in the IBI Ambassador Program, Governor General Program. So it is just a badge to tell you that you need to do more work.
All right, cool. Get to understand it now. Expound on Mr. and Miss Tourism Jamaica. What is that?
All right, so Mr. and Miss Tourism Jamaica, that is a very interesting thing because it is a pageant focus initiative in Western Jamaica that seeks to promote tourism through pageantry. We know that the western end of the island, the vast or depends highly on tourism. This is where most of the flights come, more flights come into Montego Bay than Kingston.
Of course.
With more ships, Falmouth hosts the largest cruise ships in Jamaica, whatever it is. So tourism is heavy here. And so this program is aimed at helping young people promote Jamaica, keep brand Jamaica alive through pageantry and project implementation. Our project implementation focuses on how we can contribute to both tourism and the environment. It branches wider into other stuff where we take on international pageants that focus on developing or contributing to earth or the earth or the environment, but our focus is really on developing young people to become ambassadors within the tourism industry, promoting brand Jamaica while making them into leaders, helping them with, project management and execution, developing their leadership skills, their speaking abilities, their overall presentation. So we focus on that as well. Currently, we are recruiting for our upcoming pageant that should happen very soon, within another few months. In July, we're in our fourth edition of this pageant, and the ambassadors really give back to their community and help promote brand Jamaica. They speak a lot too. So now what we find is that because of Melissa, you would realize that our tourism arrival or numbers are a bit lower than expected. We haven't fully, the tourism industry hasn't fully recovered from the shocks that happened because of Hurricane Melissa. And so our focus this year is to implement projects that sells Jamaica as the destination of choice. And so that would bring in more investment into our country. So our job is really to recruit people to come and spend money in our country so that our country can benefit and it can help to grow our economy. And so we are looking for young men, young women between the ages of 18 to 35 to come on board, sign up at the Mr. and Miss Tourism Jamaica. You can check that out on our Instagram page at Mr. and Miss Tourism Jamaica. Um, and be a part of this pageant. Come, even if you don't have any, if you don't think that you are a model or anything like that, you come into a community that helps you to further develop yourself. I've seen persons come before me who couldn't talk and leave confident. Persons who, I don't focus on the walking part, but persons who never did a project before, and we have done projects that helps to better a community, give back to children. We have done projects that focuses on back to school treat. We've done beach cleanup. We've done tree planting. We have really taken our time to invest in the young people of Western Jamaica. And I can tell you that Western Jamaica is a very hard place to work with. It's very hard to get young people out, to get them engaged. You don't know until you come in Western Jamaica. You won't understand until you come to Western Jamaica and understand. And so our goal is really to inspire those who may not have a dream or see themselves within this to come and be a part of this journey of self-development and nation building.
Yeah, I understand you about leadership and young people in Western Jamaica, having spent good years of my life trying to do that. It is an interesting battle. All right. Coming down to our second break before we wrap up and we focus on a part of your career, a part of your life that you and I, that's how you and I got the chance to connect. Um, Actualization of yourself as we get to our second break. When are you on the way to be self actualized? Do you believe in self actualization?
It's a technical term, and it's a technical term because actually we evolve. We evolve with time, we evolve with our environment and whatever situation we find ourselves in. And a lot of time life calls or pushes us to pivot, to make turns that we never thought we would. And so self actualization is within the Maslow hierarchy of needs. It is a need for many people. However, is it a lived reality? Question I would ask. It's a technical question to answer some of the times because you humans, those who are hungry to grow and achieve more, if once you tick one thing out of the box, you just want more. And
Yeah.
so at what point do you self-actualize? If
Yeah.
it is that you're always broadening your horizon and thinking of how can I better myself tomorrow than I was today. And so self-actualization is, I wouldn't say it's a lived reality for many persons, but it is something that is ongoing. You know, the sky is the limit, and it doesn't matter how much you go, you just cannot reach the sky, you can't touch it. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. That's self-actualization. There is no end to it. Unless we live in limitations. Now, if we live in limitations and acceptance, then self-actualization can be a reality. Because if all that I want is just a car, a house, and some money, and if I get those and I'm comfortable, then I would have been in self-actualization. I would have lived it. But if my hunger and my desire is for more, it doesn't matter how much I achieve. I just want more. I just want more. You could look at Shelley and Fraser Price, for example.
Yeah.
I think even though she retired and she gave it her all, in her heart, she wished she could continue and do more. Because somehow she doesn't feel like she will say, yes, I have accomplished everything, but I know in the back of her mind, I did not get that record. In the back of her mind, I probably should have tried to go until 40. There are many of us who we do things and we get to a certain point and it seems great to others or like we've accomplished something. But the reality is that there's always a yearning and a burning in us for us to do more or to get more. And so am I close to it? No,
Yeah.
I'm not close to it. Will I get there? I don't think I will get there. But will I not try to get there? I will definitely try to get there, even though the reality may never happen.
And I think as we come to the break, our second break, I think a part of your self actualization is trying new things. And so before we came on live, you told us that you launched something yesterday. What did you launch yesterday?
All right. So yesterday I took a brave heart and I launched a podcast. And I can tell you that the backstory of this podcast is probably 5 years old. Um, I have long been asked by my friends, my close friends, to you have a lot of stuff that you can share. That there are people out there who will listen and who will benefit from some of the wisdom that you have and the knowledge that you have, and you need to give your voice. And I would have bought equipments, still not launched. I think I have bought 3 sets of equipments before I launch. Before I finally launch this podcast. I have a mic right now. That's my first mic that I practice with. I think I bought that mic in 2023 and I still haven't used it on the podcast. I bought another set of wireless small mics. Those got lost because I was just doing test run and not really doing anything, and they got lost. And then when I got my third set of mics, as I said, I'm not going to allow myself to not use another one and change and that. So the podcast is a long story. I remember not last year, or it was last year, I don't remember, maybe it's 24. A friend called me out of the blues from overseas. Said, Michael, it was something that I posted on my WhatsApp. And he said, Michael, you see that you post, you have a voice, you need to start something. I am giving you 6 months. And I said, okay, and that 6 months, I think it's over a year before I said, okay, I'm going to take this 6 month challenge and I'm going to try. And it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And then this year coming into my own, I felt like it is time. It is time to try and lend my voice. And so my podcast is about leadership. Again, something that I never knew that I would end up here. But it's about leadership, and it's leadership for the times ahead. It's inspired by a book that I'm currently writing called Leadership for the Times Ahead. And I tell you, that book came to me while I was at ERA conference last year. I left ERA conference inspired to write a book, and I've been writing the book since that time. And that's how the podcast came about. Because what ERA conference did for me was open my eyes to the future and where the world is heading. And I was looking at world events and world happenings. And I was also looking at what leadership will look like and will need to look like. Versus our current model of leadership within the world, whether it's leadership in your home, leadership in business, or leadership on a political scale, global scale. I was looking at the model of leadership and seeing what was happening in all these areas, in family, business, in the nations, and saying leadership has to take a different path. A different trajectory is required for the future. I realized that we were heading into some times that are going to be very much more challenging than COVID. And so the people who will take the lead are leaders who are equipped for the future. And so the inspiration of the podcast is really from that. And I'll be spending a lot of time sharing and talking about what leadership is, what it should look like. I'll be talking about wartime leaders. We know that it is on the horizon, how to prepare as a leader for times of war, how we need to make adjustment as leaders in our individual lives and on a wider scale of how we would need to lead the next generation, because leadership has to evolve with time. Leadership is not something that is monotone. It's not one color. We cannot be traditional with our leadership. We cannot have rules and context and contextualize how leaders should operate, and it being the same type of leadership. The leaders of 15 years ago will not be able to lead in the next 5 years. A matter of fact, a leader like Donald Trump will not be able to lead the next generation. A leader like Putin will not always win, because eventually, as generations change, there will be greater demands. And I'll tell you why. In Nepal last year, very early, Nepal had an election and a leader was installed. And within a few days after he passed some laws, what happened?
They
The
burned down
young
the place.
people in that country overthrew the leader of that, overthrew the government, and said that they demanded a new type of leadership. And because they demanded a new type of leadership and led a riot and a rebellion in Nepal, within 24 hours, that leader was ousted. He was thrown out. And so we understand that leadership needs to be different. And so that is what the podcast is going to focus on. What leadership will look like. You can check it out. It's Lead for the Times Ahead is the name of it. I just did just a simple introductory video of what the podcast will be about, and I'll be launching the episodes in the days and months to come.
All right. We're going for our second And I think our final break, and we soon be back on Real Life with Mr. Michael Black, an emerging leader for the time, emergent leader for the time. There was a course I did in college called the Emergent Teacher. So Michael is an emergent leader. We soon come back. Don't go anywhere.
Sky Beach Bar and Seafood Grill, located in Hopewell, Hanover, offers you a variety of local Jamaican seafood cuisine. Dine in a tropical garden setting in one of our famous tiki huts, or get your feet wet in the beautiful Caribbean Sea. We also cater to large group parties, weddings, and conferences. We provide free Wi-Fi to all persons dining. Come in and ask about our Sky Beach bed breakfast accommodation. Fully air-conditioned rooms with all modern amenities. We're only 15 minutes away from Montego Bay. Call for reservations 956-5006 or 547-3971. We will be happy to serve you.
You that there was a place where you could meet young people who are changing the world. A place where business leaders, officials, entrepreneurs, and humanitarians come together to talk about building a more sustainable and equitable future for us all. A place where you can network with professionals from over 100 countries. Well, there is a place, actually a lot of places, where change makers are meeting to become the next generation of leaders. Welcome to JCI. We also make sure that wherever we are, we're connecting people with skills, knowledge, and resources they need to succeed in work and life. And even though we much prefer jetting around from continent to continent to meet our international colleagues in person, we're also committed to bringing the JCI experience to you wherever you are. But what makes a JCI event unique isn't just the parties, the ceremonies, the workshops and panels. It's members like you guys coming together, sharing your ideas on what it means to be a leader in the modern world. So, welcome aboard.
Live JA, Hanover's #1 talk show is back. Tune in to your host Shane Reed.
Are you ready, guys? She says she's ready.
Yeah, man,
ready?
Live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Weekly rebroadcast is aired on Cornell Communications Network, Channel 0313, and on MF Telecom, Channel 100. You're invited to be a guest on the show, so please call 876-320-6013. Real Live JA, where we discuss and dissect real events to the core.
This is Lennox Lewis, last undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Big up Bell Entertainment TV. They're the best. Don't mess with them, so I'll knock you out.
J-Bell Entertainment TV. Come and share your world with us.
Real life Jamaica calls our name. Hold the faith, walk the way, love the land, hand in hand. Hold the faith, walk the way, love the land, hand in hand. Real life Jamaica, we're living so true.
All right, viewers, welcome back to Real Life JA on J-Bell Entertainment TV. I am your host, Shane Reed, and our special guest is Mr. Michael Black, an emerging leader on many areas in Jamaica. We're sponsored by Sky Beach Restaurant Bar and Grill, and we're sponsored by Pythagoras Construction, and we're sponsored by Spirits Restaurant. One, Sky Beach, is in Hopewell. Spirits is in Arbor City. Upcoming interview Thursday, we have Michael Campbell Jr., and the other interviews you will hear more about this. I'm thoroughly enjoying the conversation with Michael, and so we're going to get into the final part of his life. Our national president says the power of
Hearing.
You're not hearing?
I'm not hearing you if you are hearing me.
I am hearing you.
I don't know why I don't hear.
I'm hearing you, Michael. You hearing me? Hearing me, Michael? I'm hearing you, Michael. You hearing me? Oh, go on. All right, 1 minute, guys. Let me see something. All right, Michael, you hearing me? Hearing me, Michael?
I'm not hearing.
All right, guys, let's see. Hearing me any at all?
No, I'm not hearing you any at all.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go again. Do you want to leave and re-enter?
Want me to log out and rejoin?
Yeah, log out and rejoin and see what happens.
I'll do that.
All right. All right, guys. All right, guys. Sorry about that. These things do happen. We are live. It's technology, and we are going so well. And I don't want the interview or the conversation to end just like this. Just kind of opposite, as they say. So Michael exit, and he is going to rejoin, and we'll see how we can continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Hearing me, Michael?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
All right, cool. Ready to go. All right, so institutions are important, and one of the personal decisions that I took, that even though I am no longer within the age group for JCI per se, but I benefit greatly from the organization, and it would be, I think, it wouldn't say much of me, I believe, if after I leave, then the organization just dies. Because, organizations, institutions are vital for the proper development of society. That's what I believe. And so, you, NP Markland said the power of air conference. You found out about JCI, or Junior Chamber International in Jamaica. How did you find out about JCI Jamaica?
Okay. So it's an interesting story because I'm always in youth movement, whatever it is, whatever youth group, I'm always a part of those stuff. And so I remember going through Facebook, I believe at the time, I saw a post of a friend reshared, a friend who I followed reshared something of a president elect. And that was in 2024 or 23, no, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
President elect Danae at the time. Yeah, she was the elect. And they had shown pictures where they just had their recent um, convention, and I saw JCI. I said, okay, I'm always, once I see something, I'm going to come off immediately, go in Google, search and read, and then I'm going to go into YouTube, type it in, see if I see it, research, go. So I did quick searches, and I said, this is something interesting. This is something I want to be. It's a little bit more international rather than local, and I can broaden my horizon because I'm always for that. I'm always looking for the next big opportunity that I can take on, or the next big challenge I can take on. So I did that. And then I reached out. I realized that JCI Jamaica was on Instagram, and I sent a message and I said, I'm from Trelawney and I'm interested. And they took some time to respond, and they told me that there was none in Trelawney, but there's one in St. James, and they'll connect me. After that, it took me a year to get into JCI, because I don't know what challenge was happening, but it took a year for anybody to give me I remember even sending back messages saying nobody has responded to me yet. What's happening? I followed up because after that I was still researching and learning and finding out what this organization is about. And it is something that I very much had great interest in. And so that is generally the story of me coming into JCI.
Mm-hmm. So NVP, NP Markland and IPP, all of you leaders that are in age or listening, you heard how long it took us to reach out to Michael. I mean, he could have walked away and we would have missed the opportunity to help mold what is obviously a great mind. All right. I can definitely say that. So we, after not being in an era conference since 2018, which was Miami, I decided to go to Honduras last year, and there you were. And in our interesting hotel, we were roommates, and you started to interact with me and ask me questions. So, how did you find the ERA conference in Honduras? Why did ERA conference in Honduras inspire a book? I haven't spoken to you at detail since then, nearly 1 year ago now, because we're in May now, and I am now hearing that JCI conference, ERA conference in Honduras, inspired you to the point where you're writing a book. I mean, JCI would like to hear about this. Ali would like to hear about this. So, Bossman, walk us through how the heck did ERA conference do that to you? What happened there?
I think it's first starts internally. When you have a passion for something, and you have a passion for leadership and change and transformation and to see results and things happening, it starts there. What JCI did was open what that conference did, JCI conference in Honduras did was open my eyes to the need for leaders to arise, and not just that you just come to the conference and just say, oh, I was at a conference and it was fun, and you spend the time. I enjoy the moment, you enjoy the training or the competitions or whatever parties or whatever, and you enjoy, and then you go back to the normal. There was more of there throughout the presentations, and I was very much more passionate about going to the presentations that focus on leadership, because that was my passion. So I was focused on the sustainable development of goals, training, the effective leadership. I remember leading with empathy, the entrepreneurial leadership, all those trainings. I was so much, and when I listened to the presentation, what they highlighted to me was a need for leadership. And not only that, it was the sustainable developmental goals training, I remember very, very vividly, that really opened my eyes, because it showed me where Jamaica was in achieving its goals and where some of the rest of the world was. And a key part of achieving those goals is leadership. And to transform any organization, any business, leadership stands at the helm of it. It doesn't matter if you're in science, education, digital world, it doesn't matter what area your occupation or your career takes you into, leadership stands at the helm of it. And as I was sharing before we took the break, that I understood that we were entering periods or times when leadership is going to be more accountable to a lot of people are going to now blame leaders for a lot of the things that are happening in the world. And JCI has a very strong motto of developing leaders for a changing world. And so if that is the mission of JCI, to develop leaders for a changing world, then my duty is to help bring that message across. So a lot of the topics that I have from my book are topics from the trainings that I would have received. While there are some that are not.
Michael, it's fascinating. I remember because it was the first time I met you. It was in Honduras, and it's typical of me and everybody. If you know me, I can be a lot of time in here. So I didn't at first just come and I think I greeted you and that was that. And it was not until you started asking me certain questions and I was responding to you and trying to explain the organization. I had no idea, my youth, that you were that deep.
When I do things, I'm in leadership. I'm not doing it because I want to be seen. I tell you, I'd gladly take a white coat right now and go sit behind a desk and throw some chemicals and look at and do some tests. I'd rather be a hidden person. And so whenever I come into leadership, I'm coming with a vision and a passion to see transformation and change. And so going to the ERA conference wasn't just about an experience for me. Oh, let's experience. You can't afford to miss it. You need to experience. No, it's about going and learning about how you can further develop yourself to get to where you want to go or to have influence where influence is needed. And so that was it for my Honduras experience. I left feeling inspired to write the book. I left feeling like the book is a need, because while this is being shared within the conference, within training, there are some persons who will never get to hear about this. There are some persons who will never get to come to a ERA conference, but maybe a book that I'm writing will get to them. Maybe a podcast that I'm starting will get to them. Now I become a branch that carries whatever information GCI have, however GCI is helping to shape the world through its initiative of developing leaders. Then I will take what GCI is offering and extend it to those who may never ever become a member of this noble organization.
Wow. Certain things are making sense to me now, but I won't say they are in there. I keep those to myself. It's not everything good for eat, good for talk, but yeah, the picture, yeah, cool. So you're going to Antigua. What do you expect from Allah? When do you leave for American Leadership Academy? And what are you expecting from the Leadership Academy? And what are you expecting from this conference in Antigua?
I'm leaving on Thursday. Very much in anticipation for what the Leadership Academy will offer and how I can learn, how much resource I can get from that academy and come back to help to build my local chapter, JCI Monterey. I I'm also looking forward to the networking opportunities. That is important because one of my future goals or one of my future things is to also end up in diplomacy and end up in diplomatic relations. And you don't know, who knows, I may need to stand on Jamaica's behalf to secure Jamaica's future one day. Who knows? So that is trying to build the connections, just in case you may need to call on somebody from from Colombia or from the US or from the UK or wherever these young leaders are coming from to learn. You don't know what business investment or investor I will connect to that will come and help to make Jamaica better. And so that is how I look at going to these conferences. People don't know, but I'm very much patriotic. I love my country. I love Jamaica. And I want to see Jamaica in a place or in a position where it is not being abused or it has to depend on other countries. Yes, that cannot be eradicated. We have to depend. But I want to see a Jamaica that is firm, a Jamaica that is solid, and not just a country that is known for track and field, but is known for the leaders it produces and known for contributing to uh, the global development of the human race. So yeah, JCI does have that platform to get you there, to help monitor, lead, inspire you, and give you direction there, connect you to the people that you need to connect with. And so that's my overall expectation.
I wish you all the best. So sorry I can't be with the team this year around, but that's that. I'll catch up with you guys. Pre- uh, Preparation, catch up with you guys for Brazil. Um, that should be bigger and better and interesting.
Yeah.
That
And
should be.
we're
Mhm.
going to miss you on the team, Shane. You know, you are a solid foundation on the team, and I think you also help to very much to guide us into ensuring that we represent Jamaica very well, and that part is going to be missed.
Yeah. I realize that you know, I could have done things a little bit better before to plan for Antigua, but that's water under the bridge. Sometimes you don't push too much; you just um, allow things to be. I mean, Mr. IPP, Mr. Director is there. There are also senior members to you and others, and they have benefited from the organization. And I think I have passed on enough to them for them to pass on to you. But definitely, it's a pleasure to see that we were able to play a part in your evolving, and wishing you all the best as you go off for Antigua, for Allah, and for their conference. And also, I really hope that you'll come back and be able to pour. You will develop and you'll come back and be able to pour into Montego Bay and even the West on a whole. I think I can say this year, and I said it to you when we were at Hopewell High School, that probably Montego Bay needs to go out into Trelawney, etc., etc. So all the best, and I look forward to your return and your continuous evolving. So as we come down, why JCI though, and why are your future career plans within JCI? Do you want to go the full gamut? I mean, do you want to be a VP, serve at the national level, then go internationally to the very top, and then branch out into other stuff? Do you see yourself doing that?
I would Let me answer your first question. Why JCI? I would ask somebody why not JCI. Why not JCI? There is a plethora of opportunities. for you to learn and grow and become your best self. In terms of leadership or evolving, going through the ranks in JCI, I'm not sure I'm seeing very far because I think I'm a man who always look to the next. And while JCI has structure and a leadership thing, I'm not sure that time is on my side in that aspect to get to there. I would have to do a lot of hard work to get there in the time frame that I would assume I would need to get there in.
Not to go too far, but you're not
I'm
close to 40 yet, are you?
I'm about 7 years away from 40. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
can at least reach your EVP.
I mean yeah. Um so my goal, I don't have necessarily a goal to get to EVP. I think for the most part I probably would be VP for the region. That's the most for now that I have thought about.
Mm-hmm.
Not something that is at the forefront of my mind because I'm more focused on the work that is at hand now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is to get Montego Bay into a rhythm of working and being a very efficient and fluent chapter with solid projects. I've been admiring Hopewell ever since I joined the organization. But I realized that Hopewell is what it is because of years. It didn't happen overnight. They had projects that spanned for 20 years. For 20 years. And so I understand that to say that if I can lay a solid foundation for other local presidents and the local board of GCI Montego Bay to model and continue with projects and initiatives that can turn over in the next 5, 10, 15 years, then Montego Bay will have a solid footing and will be able to be an outstanding local organization within the Americas. And so that is my focus, set a foundation that can be repeated over time and a model that can be repeated over time and advance, develop on, but repeated over time. And once I'm through with Montego Bay in that, I'll look to see if I can bid for a national position maybe later this year. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about that yet because Montego Bay so needs that focus. But if that happens, I'm not sure how far in the national I'll go. I mean, I'm a man who go with the wind at times. Um, and there are other things that I'm working on in my life
Yeah,
that
yeah.
may cause me to detour or take a turn. May end up in politics, who knows? I have a love and a passion for my town and my community, and I want to see it better. And so I pondered going into
You can balance both because I think it doesn't happen in the Latin American bloc. There are one or two of our, I think they leave it until the end of their career a little bit though, but in the background, in their private non-JCI life, they lay the groundwork. The foundation is laid, and on their way out, they just launch into it. I think that I've seen that. I've observed that's how they do it in the Latin bloc in South America. So
yeah, so that's basically my focus. And ultimately, as I said, I hope to be a diplomat for my country, and get into some of those negotiation and representation, representing Jamaica.
wow. All right. I think we have reached our zenith, and you don't push things beyond a certain point. And so Michael Black, future diplomat, future entrepreneur, future leader, future everything. Thank you, sir, for taking the the time out to join us here on Real Life. It has been a wonderful conversation that I enjoy to prick your brain and all of those things. And thank you for opening yourself to me and for asking me questions to the point where I could, at least guide you and point you on a particular pathway. And all the best in Antigua and catch up with you when you get back to Jamaica. Safe journey. Catch up with you for mid-year, and of course, we have other things later this year and into next year. So, and we are here to help you with your leadership podcasts. That's what we do as colleagues within this great organization. So, all the best, boss man. Godspeed. Thank you guys for watching, Markland, Renil, and all the rest of you who will travel later on this week into Antigua. I won't be there, but I will be there in spirit. And you know how I would guide you guys and go and represent, go and do us well. We are Jamaicans. And everywhere we go, we lead.
Yes.
All right, cool. We put the best foot forward.
Right.
All right, so all the best, Michael, all the best, team, and thank you for joining us. To close off, we're going to share a video from the Jill Stewart charity run that was held earlier this morning at anywhere from 6 o'clock onwards. So, Jermaine, over to you as we share with you snips from the Jill Stewart charity run that was held in Montego Bay.
Come here, mama. Come here, come here. Is it piece up there? Is it piece up there? Is it piece up there? Is it piece there? Is it piece up there? Is it piece up there? Is it piece up there? Mama, Yo! Here, people, I've just. What on there? And Jamaica with there. One of my other corporate company. Oh yeah, phone. Come here. Come here. She getting digital credit. So you can't call the boy we left you out and say, wicked boy, watch you again. Come up on the front, let them see. You're going to say, wicked boy. Me get a chip for 2, and it is not with you. Yeah.
Sorry,
Look here now.
Sorry, pardon.
Yes.
Because you know you're my baby father, and I rate this lady right here.
Yes.
I also just got for her a pass for 2 from Jam West for her to go on a catamaran.
Jeez.
So Jam West, I'm just saying. Jam West, catamaran from Mom, it's never too late for a shower rain.
Okay.
One of them will call it dumpy.
Good.
I'm up on the catamaran and she's a princess. Make some noise.
Well on there. Want to say James Stewart? Say James Stewart. Come here now, mama. Come here. Step up, officer. People, we are Jamaicans. Now, care won't argue. We appreciate it a lot. But you know, spending money. Because if we go give the people when we work at the hotel tip, because if we post it to like how we post it. Yeah. Okay? We need money up here for her, please. And we don't need no check. She too old for go change it. Them go rob her. She need cash. Please and thanks. Come here, mama. It look like a stir fry I hear dance. And a stir fry. And which one I hear dance? You like wine and move up your waistline? Come here. How much kids you have, mama? 4? 3 girl and 1 boy. Good. See money here. Watch out. $2,000. All right. Yes. Yes. Hold on, mama. Mama, look here. Where you live? You live in Montego Bay? Tucker Early? Orin. Tucker Orin. And it is considered a country place, right? Everybody will like country, say country. Everybody will love where them come from, say home. See more money at $5,000. Hold on, me I give you a little time to get more money, mama. Me I give you a little more time to get money. Me I give you a little more time to get money, mama. See more money you come, watch you have spending money. The boy, you can buy a bad suit. See there, mama, you have a bad suit. Come here, you've been going on the beach. Watch me, granny. Hold on, give me some now, mama. One back in your days, mama. One, please, not me, I'm a bucket. One back in your days now, mama. Give me your one. Butter one. Give me your one. Butter one. Money wine. Butter wine, mama. Granny wine. Butter wine. Country wine. When I enjoy myself. When I enjoy myself.
Ready now, sir?
Yes, ready, go.
This year for 10th staging, an organization that has been with us for 14 years from inception, decided to sponsor 2,500 participants. And when one group was out, Corner College, and they sent in 100 people, Rio decided to sponsor that 100 as well, and brought it up to 2,600. We're talking about $5.9 million.
For charity.
For charity.
From one organization.
From one organization alone.
Give them, make it
As the organizer, what's the sort of sentiment you feel getting a level of support from one?
Listen to me, man. we feel as if this kind of support is what we could never ever pay for.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from? It is called loyalty to a brand. It is called commitment to a brand. It is called dedication to a cause. This cause, as you all know, is a cause for recovery. And not only did they have their staff during or after the hurricane, but they're helping us. We could have had less people. There are many organizations that are still not able, have not been able to recover in the West. There are many hotels that are still closed. Okay? So, I really want to big them up.
Well, in the same breath, what do you have to say about the other sponsors? Right?
Yes. I want to thank the other, I want to thank tourism, because many of them are closed. Royalton is closed. Yet they gave us prizes for when they reopened. Princess just reopened. And they have given us prizes. Sea Gardens is closed. And we're getting weekend for 2. S Hotel made sure that they hosted us at our launch. And they had a team. And it's a small hotel. So I know that the tourism industry believes in this.
Yes.
Obviously, Sanders Resort International and its subsidiaries had over 2,000 people in the run. What Adam Stewart is saying to us is Montego Bay, the tourism capital, is also a very important part of why we're here and why we survive. And so, I want to thank the tourism industry, all the people from the tourism industry that did this for us. Jam West, TRO, Resort, all the way Runaway Bay, Jamaica Inn. Many of them could be bleeding right now. DJ Airport Limited, where the numbers are down. They took on and decided that they were going to adopt us. And we were all over the airport.
And of course, your media friends.
Yes. VIP attractions. All of these entities are tourism-related entities. And so, I want to say a big thank you to every single one of them, including those who entered this event. I cover me up tents, I ascend the elevation, and the police here.
Yes, right. Say no more. We're very full.
Alright guys, we're at the end. I know you're tired, Janet, but we want to say from the beginning, congratulations.
You could be right. If you said that. Because that was probably the amount of people in the parking.
Miss Kitty, this one is from Miss Janet. How do you feel about the mobile
great.
city?
It was absolutely amazing. The Jill Stewart Mobile run. It was really wonderful, and I'm humbled and happy to have been able to serve this morning. Because everybody who came out, all the artists, everybody, you made it happen, and we wanted to continue to grow from strength to strength. One Mobile, one Miss Kitty. La 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 la. One Janet Silvera. Oh. Pat yourself on the shoulder. This run was for education. Our children depend on us to lay a firm foundation so that the next generation can, so that we can have the generation and Jamaica that we want. Without education, you shall perish, right? And of course, you don't know labor for learning before you grow old. For learning is better than silver and gold. Silver and gold will vanish away, but a good education will never be full.
Of course, Miss Kitty, you did well. The crowd loved her. That's awesome. I saw Mr. Stewart was there. Please.
Big up Adam Stewart, one boss, one general. Big up Mr. Wilkinson, one boss general. And of course, it was really great. Stewart was an avid runner and a health enthusiast, yes. And that is also very important because we want an educated nation, but we also want a healthy nation, okay? And so walking, running, and jogging, those are some of the things that we have to do. We're not eating dumpling and we have a banana, but we have to do everything in, in balance, in proportion, and also we have to move in our bodies. So sometimes it don't have to be that you're going to a gym and I don't know what if you can do that and if you can afford it, that's fine. But if you can't do it, even some walking. You know, Big up J Bell, thank you so very much. Enough love. Thank you, my baby.
Oh, my people, I am here with Miss Girling, right? Yes, I am here with Miss Girling, and she take part in the Jill Stewart obesity run.
I'm the oldest runner in Jamaica.
So my people, she is 86 years old and a day, you say?
5 months and 1 day.
Right. So
I was born on the 2nd of December 1939.
So how comes you maintain all of this? Did you practice or you eat? I don't know.
Well, I do not really eat chicken and those things unless I'm going to die for hunger. Then I don't have anything else. I put a piece of chicken in my mouth. And not a big piece. Fish and vegetables. Natural food, like brown food, overhanded food like banana, breadfruit, and things.
Nice. So is this your first time running in the Jill Stewart Mobile City Run?
I started from the first one to this one. I never missed one.
So you've been participating from ever since?
Yeah, ever since it started.
Wow.
I started with the 10K and then I started to do the 5K. Run and not walk.
So tell me something, have you ever represented Jamaica?
Yes. I am the Caribbean champion for the 60 and over for Jamaica.
Wow.
And I'm the national champion for the 60 and over from 2008. And I'm still holding that title.
You're still holding that title. So are you going next year to defend that title?
I have been invited to go to Cayman to run this year. And since 2011, I started to do the running events, like the road races, like the case like this. But from 2006, I was doing track and field upward when people. But some of the people said I'm to stop, let other people get first place.
Oh my God. So are you going to withdraw now or
No. I mean the track and field people, because they can manage to run the distance that I run.
Okay. So
the last one that I participated with them, they said we had to walk 50 meters, still going there. So giving them a chance.
All right, nice.
And just continue with the children on the road.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Miss Girling. Wish you the best of health, because I see that you are very healthy and strong.
Yes.
To, you know.
It was 2018, summer about 21, I got the Caribbean overall for health in nature.
Wow. You see that? I go and check you, make you cook some food for me, you know.
I boil roots, you know.
You boil roots?
Yeah, man, I boil roots for every different thing.
Okay, nice.
My wife can baby, I boil root to clear her womb.
All right.
And if you can have none, I boil root make you can do one.
So you hear that, my people?
And if you have cancer, prostate, all those boil root. Energy.
All right, I'm gonna make sure my people I put her contact number right here so you could call her and purchase your product, because she's the real and right person for you to buy your roots from, you know. At 86-year-old, running and winning, still holding the title, the Caribbean title of the oldest female runner. You have to buy some roots from this lady.
Not only people, you know, are older than the gentleman, because every time when they have the oldest runner, I am the oldest runner, and then man my few years below me. So no man my age not running.
Great. All right, Miss Girlie. So nice again to meet you. And I'm gonna purchase my bottle of roots soon. All right?
You want to make 10 babies next year.
That's mine.
Seriously, I have right now 115 first place between track and
I feel me.
28 second and 2 third.
The longest what?
I have 115 first place between track and field and the road. 28 second and 2 thirds.
All right, Miss Girlie. So there you have it, my people. Miss Girlie at the Jill Stewart Mobile City Run in the parish of St. James and the city. What we call the city? Montego Bay City. All right, JBL Entertainment TV. We out. See you again next year. Big up the boss Janet over there, so. Yeah, man, big her up. Yeah, all right, we out.
JBL Entertainment.
Yeah, real life.
You're watching JBL Entertainment TV.
From the heart to the hills, shame, teach. Real life Jamaica, we're living so true. From the dust of the road to the morning dew. Sun on our faces, the sky so blue. Real life Jamaica, it's me and you. No fake love, no running away. We hold our faith strong in real life Jamaica. Mama wakes early before the day, prays to God, then she finds a way. Kettle boiling bread on the pan. Simple life, but a powerful plan. Barefoot youth with a big, big dream. Faith in his heart, though life's not clean. Still he smiles when the days get rough, cause love alone is strong enough. Even when the night feels long, we still find strength in a simple song. Small little light, but it burns so bright. Guides us through the darkest night. Real life Jamaica, we're living so true. From the dust of the road to the morning dew. Sun on our faces, the sky so blue. Real life Jamaica, it's me and you. No fake love, no running away. We hold our faith strong in real life Jamaica. Old men sitting in a wooden chair, telling stories about love and care. Market noise and church bells ring. Hope still grows in stubborn things. No big stage, no fancy light, just a real voice in a quiet night. But truth sounds louder than any fame. Real life Jamaica calls our name. Hold the faith, walk the way, love the land, hand in hand. So true, from the dust of the road to the morning dew. Sun on our faces, the sky so blue. Real life Jamaica, it's me and you. No fake love, no running away. We hold our faith strong in real life Jamaica. Just a guitar, just a voice, just the truth. Real life Jamaica.